Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to Beating the Press podcast. I am your host, Rafa. Now, coming up in today's podcast, we're going to be looking back, reviewing the big games which took place over the weekend. League leaders taking care of business versus Man City. And of course, Arsenal, the closest contenders, dropping points and potentially dropping out of that title race. Now, joining me this evening to review these matches and to talk some EPL football, we have returning to the podcast, Sir Cole.
This is everyone. Glad to be back,
We also have returning to the podcast, Christoph.
Good to be back, viewers.
Yes, indeed, gents. Nowhere else to start but over there at the Etihad, Liverpool, Sir Cole. 2-0 winners over Man City. Talk to us about that game and what are the title potentials at this point in time for Liverpool. Can they be caught or will they slip again?
Well, at this point, I'm prepared to accept the sad reality that it looks like Liverpool will undoubtedly win the league this season. If City couldn't take points off them, then I don't see them dropping points enough for the other teams to come back and take this away from them at all.
Yeah, I mean, City hasn't really been playing well of late, Sir Cole. I mean, beaten by Real Madrid midweek. Liverpool now 2-0 winners. I mean, was another result expected, to be honest. I mean, I thought Arsenal on Saturday, Sir Cole, would have been the team to really tighten the screws on Liverpool and put them in a psychological dilemma. You know, dwindle down that lead to 5 points with a game in hand. That lead could have potentially been 2 points. But we saw what can only be classified as a championship 6-pointer, Sir Cole. There was a 6-point swing at the top of the table.
Yeah, I mean, we have to really understand still, based on the position that Arsenal is in, really injuries and so forth. As well, the kind of form that City has been in for a long period. Really and truly, we're just trying to hope against the fortunes, hoping against hope that something could have materialized in terms of the lead, being cut. But this time around, it didn't happen, and Liverpool has extended to what I think is now an unassailable point lead, 11-point lead.
Christoph, talk to us. What took place on Saturday? Arsenal going down 1-0 to West Ham. What took place on Saturday? What's going on? I mean, every time Liverpool have slipped up our season, Arsenal have failed to capitalize, and this was another opportunity to really tighten the screws on this Liverpool team and really put Slot under some sort of pressure. But he seemed not to be no team in the league seemed to be able to put this Liverpool team under pressure and see what Slot is made of when the push come to shove.
Well, it kind of goes back to what I said last week and even before that. But last week I said, last week I said I don't think Arsenal will necessarily beat West Ham because I don't know that they are capable of finishing the chances that are presented to them, and that is what happened on the week. The created chances, poor finishing. Nobody with that real killer instinct to kind of get in. There was not a lot of running in behind the defense to kind of put pressure on them. They created chances, and it goes back to what I said January. Regardless of what they do in January, they must sign a striker in order to win the league. They did not, and we're seeing the fruits of not signing a striker at the moment. And that loss relieve potentially the pressure on Liverpool and allow them to play with more freedom against City.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was what I was anticipating when we previewed the weekend. I thought Arsenal would have won versus West Ham, and then psychologically, Liverpool, knowing of this result, would have gone into that Man City game under greater pressure, under greater scrutiny to actually get a result. But it seemed as if the reverse occurred. Arsenal having lost versus West Ham, it just gave Liverpool enough freedom to really even change up their tactics circle. I mean, Slot surprised many by not even playing with that striker. He played with two number 10s, with Salah and Diaz occupying the wide areas and trying to get in behind. This formation surprised me even, Sir Cole. What did you make of it? Was it effective? Do you see it having success going forward? Or this was just a one-off situation to deal with City in particular?
The proof of the pudding is in the eating. If it worked, then clearly it was successful. It got a 2-0 win, away win as well, something that they had achieved for a while. So, I mean, as to whether they use it going forward is really up for debate. I'm really not sure. But clearly, that they would have gone in with an objective and they came out having 3 points. It really doesn't get any better than that.
Ah, indeed, indeed. Well, Liverpool, I must say, at this point in time, has one hand on that EPL title. But again, we have seen it in the past circle. There's many a slip between the cup and the lip. And although things are looking up, do bear in mind, Arsenal do have a game in hand. So that 11-point lead is really potentially an 8-point advantage when all is said and done. And losing a game here or there, the narrative can shift suddenly, Christoph. But does Arsenal have in them, Christoph, to put a late run together? If indeed there is a slip or two by Liverpool, do they have a late run? Can Arsenal find a formula even with the lack of firepower in the squad currently?
Um, it doesn't matter how good you play in football. It doesn't matter how much possession or how good you are defensive. If you can't find the goals, you're not going to win the match, right? Arsenal has been, while they've been scoring a lot of goals. You know, they broke their goal record last season. They were doing well in terms of goal this season, but the problem is they create so many chances, so many guilted chances that go unfinished, and it is one of the causes of them dropping points so far this season, as well as you could say the poor discipline or the poor refereeing that we've seen against them so far in the season, because they've
Well,
dropped points in every.
I would say it's poor discipline, to be honest. I mean, if you're gonna give the referee the opportunity to actually make that decision or to get it wrong against you, so to speak, then to me it boils down to poor discipline. I mean, how many red cards have Arsenal gotten this season? What, eight,
five
I believe?
five red
Five?
cards in the
Right,
EPL.
and the result seemed to have gone against them in those games as well. Either they drew or lost those games.
E- e-
But you're
every
putting the referee in a position to
every
make the bad call.
no red card against Arsenal this season has been legitimate. Not
Well,
one. Not
well, what
not
about
not
Ah.
not hey, not even the one against West Ham was legitimate. You see, if
what,
you
what what
go
says
and
you?
what.
You're saying that's not a gilt edge red.
Oh, hold on. There was a foul, right? There was a foul. That foul is a red card foul. However, Louis Skelly was fouled before that. Go and watch it
Mm.
again.
So
He
you're
was
saying the
elbowed in the
referee should have
face.
blown up for that foul,
No, no.
and then
I'm
the
saying,
technically the red card situation would not occur then.
I'm saying they went to review if it was a red card, and they reviewed the incident and completely missed the incident immediately leading to that
Ah,
tackle.
but I don't think VAR is re-refereeing the game, Christoph. That's what I'm
No, no,
saying.
no, 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 no.
VAR only comes into play in a red card situation, so you can't look at
Exactly.
subsequent foul leading to the red.
No,
You're
it
looking
is
at the
it is
red card
in
in.
that action, in that same action that led to the red card. Skelly was elbowed in the face, but the
Well,
VAR did not see that. It was one action. Go
ah.
on watch it back.
But I
Go and
mean, that
watch it
being
back.
said, however, that being said, I mean, looking ahead, there's no point crying over spilled milk.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right. Skelly got a red card, and if it
Right,
was
right.
just that, that was a red card challenge. However, if you are reviewing the incident as a whole, Skelly was elbowed in the face, and for
No,
some
but that's what
reason,
I'm saying.
VAR reviewed it and missed that.
No, VAR doesn't re-referee the game, is what I'm
No,
saying. VAR
hey,
only looks at red card situation. That's what I'm saying. So
yes. In other
VAR, in that
words,
sense, doesn't have the legal right to look at incident leading to the red. That's the
listen.
referee's decision. So whether
I
the
I
ref
think
missed
you're
it, yes or no,
I think you're missing
then
what I'm saying. The referee did not give a card initially. He blew. He did not give
right.
a card. He was waiting on VAR to review it. If
Hmm.
you are fouled in the lead up to a foul, should you not then pull back the game to the foul
No,
to
no,
the
that's
first foul?
re-referring the game is the point
It
No.
I'm
is.
making.
It is. But I'm saying it is one immediate incident. It is not like
No, no, no.
Kelly.
The VAR
Mm.
doesn't work that way.
Anyway,
VAR,
anyway,
VAR doesn't
uh,
work that way, big boss.
no red card Arsenal has received this season has been a legitimate red card. All of them
Well, that's a
were not
discussion we could
illegitimate.
have. But I mean, looking ahead though, Christoph, looking ahead with what Arsenal have at their disposal, it seems as if Arsenal has to turn back to Sterling. I mean, I would say play Trossard up front and bring Sterling on the right hand side is my suggestion, or the left hand side, and the
Listen,
youngster continue on the right.
if I think Sterling can play. His last game he was horrible. Not the West Ham game. Game before it was horrible.
Right.
It seemed to me like potentially the manager needs to tell him exactly what he wants at each phase of play
But I
in
mean,
order
that's
to
why he
get
was
something out
bought.
of
I
him.
mean, I mean, imagine you're brought into a team for your attacking qualities circle, and you see a defensive midfielder starting up front over you. That's a slap in the
Yeah,
face.
of course. Looks bad.
Hey,
That is a slap
listen,
in the face. I mean, what are you telling the players, Christoph? That you're pretty much saying, hey, you're not good enough. That's
he's
pretty
not
much
good
my
enough.
read on the situation.
Sterling is not good enough. He hasn't been given a lot of chances, but the chances that he has gotten, he hasn't been good enough in the majority of them. I can only think of potentially one really good game. We even saw him missing penalties.
Well, I mean,
Cancellation
everyone
penalties.
misses
His
at some
teammate,
point in
yeah,
time.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
even the
But
best miss.
your teammates giving you a cancellation penalty, and then you're still missing.
Well, that's probably why he's not on penalties, Christoph. He's not a good penalty
Mm.
taker. And maybe they were trying to boost his confidence, but
Right. That is exactly
the
what they were
result,
doing. But the result
it
is the
seemed as if the
confidence has
result
been
went in the
shattered.
opposite direction.
Exactly.
Ah, time and time again, Arsenal, we have failed to live up to the hype and the expectation. The question now remains, Christoph, final take on Arsenal. Is Arteta the man to lead Arsenal to an EPL or Champions League title? I mean, technically, you're still in the mix for both. As unlikely as it may seem, but you're still in the mix for both. Can
I
Arteta lead Arsenal to one of those trophies this season, or even looking ahead going forward?
Here's the thing. A lot of flack gets thrown on Arteta for not winning the titles, whatever. But also, it's not just Arteta. All right, he can put the players on play well all season, and then the players just not performing in certain games. That is not on the manager. That's on the players. All right,
So can
signings.
Arteta lead the team to a trophy, Christoph? That's the question.
Here's the thing. People are saying, Arteta needs to go. Arteta is a bad manager, blah blah blah. But
What's your take?
if he is such a bad manager, or if he's the players are bad, he has been doing a really good job for the last 2 3 years, competing for the title. Again,
Can
I
he
have
win the
maintained he's
silverware is the
been.
question.
If he gets, I don't know if the board is at fault. I don't know if he's at fault. He needs the signings.
But can he win the silverware? That's the question, Christoph. Can
I
he win a trophy?
I thought I just
Really?
answered that question. If he can get in the signings for areas that we
So
need,
you're
he can
fully
win the
behind
title.
Arteta then. You're fully behind Arteta, all
I
things
I
being equal.
I think he might probably walk at the end of the season just because
Walk.
maybe the board is not backing him. Well,
Mm,
obviously something is happening because even before the transfer window, you go into a press conference and say you need signings. Players say you need signings, and then
right.
January you don't sign anybody.
Mm. So
Either
you're
either
saying,
either you if it's a case where Arteta went to January and said he did not want any signings, he is at fault. But if it's a case where he wanted
well,
signings,
maybe he wanted signings, but there was no signings available.
listen,
Or the price of the signings was way above what Arsenal was willing to pay.
if your first target, you cannot get your first target. You need to do something, regardless of price, regardless of deal that you have to make. You need to get if you want to. You're competing for the league. You want to win the league. You have it. You have. You're just short. You know you need a striker. It doesn't matter. They should spend the money and buy a striker, even if it's not your first choice. You just need a body to score goals.
Mm. So
That
you're
did not
saying you're
happen.
fully backing Arteta then. Arteta should be given the opportunity going forward.
I think he needs to be fully backed by the board. If he says if
But
he
we
goes
don't
to the
know. We
board and
could,
says
but assuming he is fully backed. We don't know if he's not
If
backed or fully backed.
yeah,
I would
if
think
he,
he's fully backed.
I I don't
My
know.
best guess would be
I don't
he
know.
is fully backed. What
Listen,
says you, Sir
If
Cole?
he's been there 5 years, of course.
Yeah, he's fully
Yes, man.
backed. I mean, to me,
I don't take that as a marker of he's being fully backed. Arsene Wenger was at Arsenal for 15 years, and for several of those years he didn't really win anything, right? You could
well, I
say he
mean,
was
maybe
fully
he
backed,
had
but he
credit in
wasn't
the
getting.
bag. I mean, after that invincible season, I mean, you can't fire
That
that
happens to
coach.
everybody. So
That's
to Klopp,
impossible.
so to Sir Alex, everybody.
No, Sir Alex is a special case. All right, Sir Alex is the only manager who could criticize ownership and not get fired. Any other manager criticize ownership, they are getting fired in the morning.
Credit in the bag. Credit in the bag. Credit in the bag. You know, sometimes your reputation precedes your circle. And speaking of reputation circle, this is a good way to segue across to United circle. United 2-2 with Everton. Talk to us about that game and in particular, what's your take on Amarin at this point in time? You have seen enough of him now, Sir Cole. He has gone in excess of 10 games at the helm with this United team. That
Really?
should be enough to make an assessment.
Yeah, well, as one pundit, I said that after 10 games would have been top four. No, we
Well,
aren't even top 14. We aren't even top 14 right now.
mm, interesting times ahead at United indeed.
Exactly. Yeah, but I mean, so far, Amorim hasn't shown anything to suggest he's the type of manager that his work at Sporting has shown earlier. Um, at Sporting, I believe at some point he was 10 from 10, I believe, in the league. So far, there's something clearly different at United, which he's not able to have an impact or to change. So I'm not saying he's a bad manager. I'm saying that he probably really just isn't the right fit for Manu at this time.
So you're saying Amarin out then Sir Cole.
No,
It better
I'm
to
not
get rid
saying
of him
out.
from now and get someone in.
No, I'm not saying out. I'm saying give him some more time. If we have done your due diligence and
Right?
gone through the process as you should have to secure a manager, then you really shouldn't be this hasty to make a decision as poor as the results have been. Then it means that the process to actually hire the manager would have been flawed in the first place,
But they did that with
which is possible, matter. I don't know.
Mourinho, Van Gaal,
Yeah, then if you have
David Moyes.
if the decision makers which we don't see on TV are making poor decisions, then clearly it shows in terms of the results on the field as well. The manager is the face of the team. He is the one who faces the
Um,
heat. But if
I
persons behind the scenes are making poor decisions, then it looks bad on him.
I agree with Sir Cole. I don't think it's Amarin out. I mean you granted you brought him in the first half of the season. I mean, but he doesn't have any players that he wants. I don't think did United bring in any players in January? I don't recall. In January, did they
Yeah,
bring in it?
yeah, man. Only Dorgu.
Okay. So he brought in one player. And the players were already majority of the players were already bad or performing poorly before he came
Look
in.
at Rashford, Christoph, and Anthony. These guys have gone and are tearing up La Liga. I mean, Anthony's tearing up La Liga, and we've seen the
Anthony,
impact of Rashford over there at Aston Villa. I
right,
mean,
but
so
these players, just like you have a new manager bounce, these players are having a new club bounce. We don't know long term how that will pan out. And again, it could just be Man United is the problem. But
the
again,
atmosphere
it's that is not Amarin's fault. He needs to be given time to build
to
his
change the
team
culture.
right. So I don't think it's not Amarin out yet. I think it
So
would be
what? So
Amarin
would it be
out
Amarin out if United got relegated though?
according to you. The 30 point barrier. Man United are on
Yeah,
30 points, so they're
yeah,
not going to get relegated.
yeah. It's
So
unlikely at this point in
I
time, to be
I
honest.
I think even if the results are poor for the remainder of the season, I don't think you fire Amarin. I think you keep him, allow him to build his squad, in the
The
summer.
summer.
However, there must be some changes in how Man United recruit players. I'm not typing the type of players I'm thinking about in terms of contracts and so on, because they spend excessively to bring players in, give them very high paying contracts, and if they underperform, you cannot ship them out. you can't do anything. So there needs to be a change there in how they go about that, as well as maybe it's not done a lot as much, but perhaps in Man United case there needs to be some performance based contracts going around because players are not performing and they
Or some
are on high
incentives
wages.
and bonuses.
Right, ways to ensure that your players are performing. They are incentivized to get clean sheets, get goals, get assists. Because obviously putting I don't know, just an
But
example, but
couldn't that
obviously
work in the opposite as well? Couldn't that make players a bit more selfish and not necessarily playing as a team? It,
no,
it, it
not
could work in the
necessarily.
opposite direction,
It,
especially
it
if you're incentivizing things like assists. You may see
not
players fighting to take
but
corners and penalties.
here's the thing. You have us your team has set who is set to be your right penalty taker, your right corner taker, left corner taker. So there should not be any fighting over that. That player is set as your penalty taker. All right.
Well, I mean, we've seen it
Obviously,
in La Liga
something like
recently in that Lecce game.
all right, something like a clean sheet bonus that goes for the entire defense, right?
Right,
And
right.
maybe your defensive midfielder as well. All right, and
Okay.
then
Well, yeah, that makes sense. That's a
all right. So
possibility. That's
not every player
something that
get
could be
everything.
tried.
Obviously, your centre forward, you're going to give your centre forward a goal scoring bonus.
But isn't that the reason a centre forward is brought to score goals? Why
Right,
would
but
you need to incentivize scoring goals?
and yet Man United have two strikers currently who can't score. And they are
Well,
on high on big contracts. So clearly
well,
you
as you
give them
said,
a
it's the
small
recruiting.
contract
The
and then you
recruiting may be the issue, and maybe the business behind the recruiting as well, in terms of negotiations, etc. So, I mean, for sure, Amarin should be given some time. I agree. I mean, more of these results to come, however. Probably Manu has to go through some more dark days circle before we see the light at the end of that tunnel.
A
So
long
more
at,
of
dark
these
tunnel.
results are a
at
distinct possibility
I tell you what though,
before.
watching that Everton game, for 72 minutes, I don't think Man United players knew what they were doing. I didn't see tracking back. There was no running. There was just laziness all around the pitch, except perhaps maybe a Bruno Fernandes. As soon as that goal went in, it's like it all changed. I think it seems like Everton thought the game was won, and concentration levels dropped. Even though
Indeed.
while Fernandes scored
Yeah,
a
poor
good free
goalkeeping
kick.
by the England international, I must say. Calamitous goalkeeping by Pickford. I mean, it has to be the goalkeeper's fault. If you're being beaten on the side, you should be standing. You should be trusting your wall and not being beaten on the strong side where you are. So I would say that free kick goal was down to poor goalkeeping by Pickford. Of course. Big England international circle. Is he the man to lead England forward to the next World Cup?
Well, by now we should be looking to, looking beyond him. He would have started in the World Cup 2018. He would have gone to another World Cup. He would have seen 2 Euros. He probably has another tournament in him, but I think we need to start here to look, at life beyond Bigford.
Oh, who are some of the names?
Ramsdale.
Ramsdale.
Yeah, why not?
You mean, you mean the goalkeeper that Arsenal got rid of?
Arsenal didn't necessarily get rid of Ramsdale.
But
Ramsdale
that's
is the
exactly what Arteta did.
no. What I mean is
He brought
Ramsdale
in Raya and got rid of Ramsdale.
because Ramsdale wants to start, so Ramsdale wanted to leave.
But
If
you brought in a number one to
Yeah,
take over
fine,
number one spot.
fine, but because it happened, it
Yes,
doesn't
but
mean the
because
previous player is a
you
bad player.
potentially want to upgrade. Exactly, it's not necessary that the player is bad. You
Mm.
wanted an upgrade
Doesn't
on the
mean he's a
player you
bad
already
player.
have.
So you're saying Ramsdale should remain in the EPL then, Sir Cole?
Yeah, somebody is definitely going to buy him.
Technically, he's
For
going down with
sure.
Southampton at this point in
He's
time
going down with Southampton. He's going to get bought. Guarantee. Somebody is
as
going
a
to buy
number
him
one.
as
Yeah,
a number one goalkeeper.
yeah, man,
Somebody is going
definitely.
to
Mm.
buy him.
Because I mean, his quality is as such that he should command a place within the top 20 in the league.
I
That's it.
don't see it. I can't see any goalkeeper currently that Ramsdale is gonna displace at their current club. I don't see it. Can you identify one goalkeeper that Ramsdale will displace?
No,
Eh,
I'm sure there are goalkeepers there, and there are many goalkeepers.
Give us an
Yes,
example
but
in circle. I can't think of any. I can't come up with a single goalkeeper in the league currently that Ramsdale is gonna displace, where a coach is gonna bench that keeper and say, "Hey, Ramsdale, here is the number one slot."
I think West Ham would potentially buy him because
Mm.
Fabianski is 39. Ramsdale, they could buy Ramsdale to replace him.
You make a fair point. That's a decent shot. I can see that. That's a decent shot. That's a decent shot, Sir Cole. But not many teams. I don't see many teams. But West Ham is definitely a decent shot.
West Ham,
if it's even one, you don't even own that one.
Yeah.
I mean, he could, in my opinion, he could easily displace Onana.
Well,
In my opinion, he could easily displace Onana.
mm,
You don't think so?
that's a stretch there.
No,
That's
no,
a
no,
stretch
no,
there.
no, 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 no. That's not a stretch.
Come on, that's no choice.
Uh,
Onana has been poor.
Ramsdale is better than Onana.
You agree, Sir Cole?
Definitely.
Interesting times ahead.
Tomorrow
But
morning,
other
I take Ramsey and goal over Onana.
mm, ah interesting times ahead. I mean Chelsea, Sir Cole versus Aston Villa. Chelsea going down 2-1 versus Aston Villa, and that man again, Sir Cole, the forgotten man, the man that has left Manchester United, coming up with the goods. Rashford, he seemed to have found a new lease on life over there at Aston Villa. Talk to us about that game, Sir Cole, and the impact that the new signings have been having at Aston Villa. Asensio, former Real Madrid man, former PSG, now at Aston Villa, and Rashford, former United, combining to really get the 3 points over Chelsea. Of course, that second goal was calamitous goalkeeping. Chelsea might
But
be in the market for a goalkeeper as well.
Christian, why are you saying former United? Was he sold?
Well, he seemed to be on
Was
the
he sold
outside
to
looking
Aston
in.
Villa?
He seemed
Fine,
to just
but
be playing at this point in time to up his value because he seemed like he's on his way out.
no, but
Um,
he's there on loan. He hasn't been sold
So
since
he
the
is
former
a
United.
United player. Would you
He's still
welcome him
United
back into
player.
the fold, Circle?
Any day, sir. Yes,
Mm.
yes, sir.
um,
Definitely.
I think I think if Rashford wasn't done £350,000 a week, he would have been sold. He wouldn't have been loaned out. It's because people can't match those wages is why he was. No, I'm not to say that Rashford couldn't go back to United and be good, but definitely if he was not on £350,000, if he was on £80,000, he would have been sold.
Yeah,
Easy.
for sure, definitely.
Same thing with Anthony. If they
Yeah,
were on
of
like
course,
80,
of course. I
they
mean,
would have been sold.
Rashford isn't going to be leaving that sort of wage behind for chicken feed, so to speak.
Right,
Because if
right.
he was to go somewhere else, I'm sure those wages would be much lower, probably cut in half at
I, I,
very
I,
minimum.
I don't think Rashford is playing to up his value. Rashford is playing to get a transfer. That is what Rashford is doing. And rumors are that he wants to go to Barcelona. So he's
But
playing
I
for
mean,
getting to get a transfer. I don't think if Amarin were to go in the summer, I don't think United would want to keep him. I think United would still try to ship him out.
Mhm.
but to be fair, we have seen where players who have gone on loan perform exceptionally well. For example, Lingard a few years ago when he went to West Ham, created did great things that don't do in West Ham. We're back to United, only to do nothing again.
So it's the United atmosphere then circle. It has to be.
Uh,
I mean,
it's a
United.
factor.
It's
It's a
a
factor.
factor. Because you
It's
can
a
look at a
factor.
number of players that it has happened to. Radamel Falcao, um, Angel Di Maria. I mean, United got Alexis Sanchez when he was the best player in the league, only for him to score, 3 goals in how many seasons. So something is happening there at United because players have said Sanchez being you're probably the biggest example, saying that his very first day he walked into United and he wanted to leave. He asked his agent if he could go back to Arsenal, and the agent told him no. So something is there at United that needs fixing because other players have said it. Di Maria has said it. I've heard Falco say because look at United have brought in a lot of players since Sir Alex, and majority of them have failed. It can't just be that all these players that were brought in were bad, because a lot of them leave United and go on to be excellent where they go. Memphis Depay goes to Barcelona, is excellent. Angel Di Maria goes to PSG, excellent. Uh, I think Cavani was kind of a mixed bag. Zlatan was a mixed bag in my opinion. Pogba leave United, goes back to Juventus, does well there until the drug charges. So there is something with United that is the issue.
Interesting
Yeah,
times
really
ahead.
can't go around it. It's simply the facts.
Yes, Sir Cole. Obviously, United need to put a hand on it. But back to that Chelsea game, Sir Cole. Chelsea on a downward spiral. What can we say? Where can they finish? Obviously, probably not in the top four.
Yeah, I had them to finish in the top four for earlier on the season, but something has gone amiss. Maybe a bit of uh, because they got some good results. Probably felt that it will last forever, so they got a bit of a bit complacent, and I know struggling to find back a semblance of the form they had earlier on the season.
I mean, it seems as if Chelsea will go as far as Cole Palmer takes them. And of late, Cole Palmer has been off the boil. Teams have figured out to lock him down. And once you lock him down, then that pretty much eliminates to a large extent the Chelsea threat. So that seemed to have been what has taken place. Obviously, team has spent billions, but still need quality in key areas of the pitch. I mean, striker for one, almost in a similar situation as Arsenal, where a striker was needed in the summer or even in January, and they failed to get a striker. Then their
It's
main
not it's
striker
not
got
it's not it's
injured, and there's no
not
replacement.
it's not quite the same situation. Chelsea has an issue with strikers. Outside of maybe Drogba and the one good season that they got from Diego Costa, can you think of any striker that has come in and been prolific for Chelsea? Chelsea has a striker issue,
Hmm.
so it's not quite the same. They have
Well,
strikers. The
I mean,
strikers are misfiring.
Tammy Abrahams wasn't doing too badly under Lampard in his initial season.
Tammy Abrams left and did well in Roma, but clearly the Chelsea hierarchy was
Lukaku,
not.
I mean,
Lukaku didn't do anything at Chelsea in any of his spells there.
uh, not sure what's going on, but for sure, Chelsea definitely not a good performance. Aston Villa has to count their lucky stars and give thanks for that goalkeeping error for sure. And the new signings, as I've said, have been making an impact. Rashford picking up another assist, Asensio bagging a brace in that game. So the January recruits have hit the ground running, and that's exactly what you want as a manager when you bring in new players, especially in January, to get that productivity immediately off the bat. And this should definitely boost the confidence of the team heading into that Champions League encounter, Sir Cole. Can Aston Villa progress deep into this Champions League, Sir Cole, is the question.
Well, quantify deep. How
Deep
far
as
is
in
deep?
maybe make a semi-final run.
Probably not semi-final, but definitely quarterfinals. Yes.
Who is their next opponent?
Club Brugge,
Well,
I
we
believe.
know it.
I
Oh
think they
yeah,
drew Club Brugge.
they could potentially move on from that. It's definitely a matter of who they face in the quarterfinal.
Mm.
Aston Villa, yeah, Aston Villa has done well in their signings. Credit to Unai Emery, he identified issues he was having in the squad and he recruited for it. And we've seen the fruits of the labor since January.
Ah, yes, indeed. Top manager for sure. Top manager probably didn't get the best of opportunities over there at Arsenal, but definitely showing his quality at Aston Villa, both in Europe and in the league as well. And he seemed to be doing a better job, Sir Cole, of balancing the European games with domestic games, as opposed to how Newcastle, a team like Newcastle, went about it the previous year. Aston Villa seemed to be striking the balance. They have fallen off slightly, but not as significant, I would say, as was the Newcastle run. And of course, they have progressed to the second round, the knockout round as well, with a good shot, as you say, of making it to the quarterfinals. So kudos to the coaching staff and the players over there at Aston Villa. But
I
Circle,
mean,
any final thoughts? Any final thoughts as it relates to this weekend's action? Any surprise results? Anything that shocked you, surprised you, or things went as anticipated and expected over the weekend?
Well, I really don't recall all the results. I can't say there's one which really shocked
Well,
to
there
be
was a big
honest.
upset over there. Wolves Bournemouth was getting the win there against an
Yeah,
informed Bournemouth team.
true. But the factor in that Bournemouth went down to 10 from early in the game, that pretty much killed off that as a contest. I'd say. And mind you, they probably did well to hold the score at one. But no, I wouldn't say that there was any shocking results from my end. I'm just looking
I,
forward to another.
I mean, shocking draw for me with United and Everton. A shocking result, in my opinion.
Well, indeed, indeed, much more football to come. The season is definitely boiling down. What? Well, how many games to go? 11? 11 games
11,
to go,
11 games to
12.
go. 11,
11
12
games to
games.
go, 12 for some teams. So the season is definitely boiling down, but lots more football to go, and we're entering the crunch time, the championship runs, knockout stages of the cups, Champions League, leagues boiling down, teams looking to fight off relegation, etc. So for sure, exciting times ahead. And of course, we have an international break coming up as well to throw in the mix also. That should give the teams and coaches a moment of opportunity to replenish the stock and get a breather to make a deep run into these last 10, 12 games, so to speak. But lots of football still to come, Sir Cole. But thanks again, Sir Cole, for coming through. Thanks again, Christoph, for sharing your thoughts and your opinions. Viewers and subscribers, continue to support the channel. Hit that like button. And of course, leave your comment. Tell us what you think. Can Liverpool go on to win the title? Or will there be a slip? Can Arsenal bounce back and make a challenge for the EPL? Leave it in the comment section. And of course, if you haven't subscribed as yet, hit that subscription bell. But until next time, this is Rafa signing off.